Hi, thanks for stopping by. Today we are going to make some cards with a brayer, and we're going to use a couple of new embossing folders and some stamps and dies from my stash. This is primarily going to be done with one set of stamps and dies. It's from Concord and Ninth. It's called Pinata Party. And we are going to use the Distress Oxide colors that you're seeing on the screen. I do have these all listed in the description box below as well. And the first thing you're actually going to see is a fail, because I thought that if I put all these colors in a row on my distress mat, or my, sorry, not distress mat, glass mat, and I sprayed them with a little bit of water, that it would just like loosen them up a little bit. But if you're seeing there, they're starting to run, so I put too much water on it and it turned into a dirty, dirty mess. Look at that. That's horrible. Now I'm trying to save it by rubbing it in there. Oh, it just looks grosser. It's terrible. But you know what? It's only paper, and we're going to clean it all up. And I didn't even try to brayer that onto something else because it looked horrible. So that was kind of a brayer fail, but we're going to keep going because, you know, we're paper crafters. We don't give up. All right, so we're going to save this horrible looking panel. And funny story is my daughter came in. She's 4. She came in while I was making this, and she was like, "Ooh, I love it. I still want to use it." Because I was just going to see how this worked and then throw it in the garbage. But she loved it, so it turned into a card, as you'll see later on. She's actually making a card here, or I'm making this part, and she finishes it up for her friend. But I don't get her coloring on screen. I just end up putting what she does onto the card. So here we're going to do something. We're going to try again. We're going to rub the inks onto the actual embossing folder, onto the flat side. And I am in an effort to not like muck up my ink pads. I am wiping off where it gets extra ink, like see down there towards the bottom of the embossing folder. I'm just wiping that off so that we don't get all sorts of yellow ink all over whatever color ends up down there. I don't want to mess up my ink pads. So we are just doing this in like the rainbow order and trying to keep it a little bit clean. We're using my tidy towel there to like mitigate the mess, basically. It's just slightly damp, so it's not leaving water on the embossing folder. And then we're using, which one is that? I don't even know. They're in the video description. I typed it all up after I watched the video once. Okay, so the wilted violet is the last one, and then we've sprayed a teeny tiny bit of water on it this time. And we brayered it, and then here's the great reveal. Let's see here. Okay, this was the color, or the thing I was expecting the first time, but it didn't work out the first time. But we are seeing what I expected. These are the expected results. So in hindsight, that's what I should have done. Or if I would have done on glass, maybe I wouldn't even have needed to put the water on it. I don't know. So here's our second card panel with a brayer. This was an idea that Jennifer McGuire shared in her video. She actually had a small brayer that was like 2 inches or something. I think it was a Tim Holtz brayer. I only have this brayer, so we're going to give this a whirl. These are Gina K Electro Pop inks, and I think that some of them need a refill. I need to order refills for them. That's going to be a lot of money. So, yes, we are going to... Jennifer McGuire suggested that you do each ink in like 3s to kind of keep it, I don't know, to just keep it visually appealing, I guess. And if I would have had a scrap of cardstock, I would have rolled all these off onto a scrap of cardstock. But I just wiped it off the brayer because these inks set up really fast and they stain. So I was just like in a rush to get it cleaned up. So that's what I did. Did I waste a little tiny bit of ink? Possibly, but it's okay. So the colors that I ended up using from the Gina K Electro Pop inks are Potent Purple, Raging Red. The purple didn't look so purpley, it looked kind of pinky. And then Poppin Pink and Orange Glow. I initially was only going to use Potent Purple, Raging Red, and Poppin Pink because I thought that would be, or maybe orange. No, I was going to use the orange and the red and the pink, I think. But it didn't end up, I don't know. Purple didn't look different enough from the pink, so I had to add another color in there so I'd get a little variation. Because if you see, the upper left-hand corner is the purple, and the right-hand corner is the pink, and I don't see too much of a difference. And I know when I first got these inks, the Potent Purple looked a lot more purpley, so probably needs a refill. So yeah, this is kind of a time-consuming process to do this when you're cleaning off all the ink pads and stuff, so you don't make, a muddy-looking mess. But yeah, in hindsight, probably should have just rolled it onto a piece of paper to use in another card, but it is what it is. I was pleased with the results because it looked very vibrant, and I think these inks were a good choice to use for this because it seems to be birthday party season for all my kids' friends, so we needed some birthday cards. And I've been doing like a series on my channel, kind of, this is like the second video, of using one stamp set basically to make numerous cards and see the varieties of ways that you can use it and the creativity that you can put into it. Because let's be honest, most of us have stuff in our stashes that don't get used very much, and I'm trying to be very conscientious about that because I try not to spend a ton of money on stuff that I won't use very often or won't use much at all. So I'm being very conscientious of what I include in my stash, and then the things that I do bring into my stash, I want to make sure that they get used and utilized enough so that they're quote-unquote worth it to me. And I mean, worth it is, you know, subjective to the person. But to me, I want to use the things enough so that I feel as though they're worth it keeping in my stash, because I need to get better at getting rid of things that I'm not using and not just holding on to them because I paid money for them. We are die cutting all the pieces for this pinata, donkey, horse, whatever you want to use it as, out of some scraps of cardstock. I did the donkey itself out of white cardstock. I did several layers of it because I'm planning on taking the unicorn horn and placing it and the tail between 2 layers of the whole entire donkey. And there's my scrap organizing system. I will put a link to my scrap organizing video in the upper right hand corner. And yeah, I'm using my pokey tool to get all the little pieces out of the donkey. I guess it's a piñata, whatever. It can be whatever kind of piñata you want it to be. And I think the little closed eye thing is super cute. It's adorable. The background that I made very much lends it to this fun piñata. And here we are gluing all the pieces together. I did speed this up a little bit because, you know, I feel like it takes me forever to glue stuff together, even though maybe I'm not that slow. I don't know. I did also put a second layer on the unicorn horn because that glitter gold cardstock that I used is not very, it's kind of like papery backed. I don't know, it's weird. So it's not very strong. So I just wanted to give it a little more, I don't know, strength or whatever. So I made the tail pink, and I made the horn golden because I was inspired to make this card. So I loosely based it on a card that I found on Pinterest that was made by Rebecca Luminarius a long time ago. Like, this stamp set is retired as far as I can tell from Concord and 9th, but I really like it. I like the sentiments that came with it, and so I'm glad that I have it. I will keep it in my stash because it's cute and versatile. So yes, there I am actually using my reverse tweezers, which 90% of the time I forget to use them, and I'm trying to pick things up with my nails, which doesn't work very well. But there we are. We're putting the cute little pink closed eyeball on it, and we're going to weigh it down. All right, and then now we are going to do the sentiment. So I keep lots of scraps in my scrap stash that are long strips of cardstock like this, and when I'm doing sentiments, I like to stamp out like 3 or 4 of them just to kind of have them on hand. And then this is the rickrack that you see me putting on there. When my grandparents were alive, they sewed a lot, and so they had a whole bunch of this stuff in their craft room, or their sewing room, and my grandpa said that I could have like all of it. And so I took like all this cute vintage like rickrack and lace and stuff like that from their stash. And I don't really sew that much, and I don't even honestly know, like, in this day and age what I would put rickrack on. So I just use it on cards when it's appropriate like this. So I'm using glue dots on the back of the card to adhere it, and I'm kind of just like crisscrossing it in the front and adhering it in the back, so it just kind of stays. I'm making sure it's snug enough so that it stays where I put it on the front. And I'm going to hide a glue dot there where they cross over each other, so it kind of stays there too. And here goes another glue dot. All right, it looks good. One thing I will say that I didn't do before I started this is I should have made sure that the card panel was the right size to fit on the card base. I did not do that. I very much should have. Fortunately, it was right, because sometimes the card panels are a little bit too big and you need to trim them down. But when you do something like this, it's hard to trim down. So here I am assembling the little sentiment strip. This was an idea I got from Rebecca. I used the colors of cardstock that I had used throughout the card to just make like a little banner-y type of thing. Like a, I don't even know, ribbon banner type of thing. And I cut them with my punch that I had. Yes, I could freehand those banner ends, but they look so much better when I do them with the punch, because I feel like they're always uneven when I do them with my scissors. I'm not good at judging the center and not good at making the little ends. So, and I know that there are dies out there that you can do that with too. But I'm very glad that I have that little punch, because it's very helpful. And I'm just putting a little glue on these so they all stay together, and then we're going to weigh them down. And these are going to go at the very top of the card above our little piñata. I like using the clear stamp blocks to weigh the stuff down when I'm trying to glue it. All right, so now we are going to glue down our little piñata, donkey, whatever it is. And then we are going to glue down our sentiments at the top there. We are using liquid glue. It is, I believe it's art glitter glue. I've had it forever. I just keep refilling this little thing. All right, so these are my Catherine Pooler inks that I used for this. We are using, what colors are these? Something Borrowed and Lime Rickey. And we are brayering them onto this, the Take a Number embossing folder from Tailored Expressions. This is actually the first time I'm using it. You will see this soon in a haul video that I have coming up soon. So we are using the Lime Rickey on this end, and I came to my senses and I rolled it off onto another card panel with the brayer. And look how cool that is. It's actually, the brayer's actually taking on the shape of the numbers, kind of. So you can see like the shadows of the numbers there in the middle of the card, the rub off panel. That's pretty cool. All right, so here's our panel. That looks amazing. I love it. And then we're going to emboss this one too, just for fun, because I'm not sure at this point which one I'm going to use. And we're just trying to get some more ink on there and smear it around, because I'm just curious. Oh, and there we go. Oh, that looks really cool. Look at that. I like it, except for that one weird dot at the corner. That's cool. I'll probably take that panel, those panels, and the green one I'll probably take a nesting die and trim it down so that I can use it for a layer panel. And now we are making some fringe, because, you know, there's not a piñata without some like party banners and stuff. So we are I fringe cut the edge of this scrap of cardstock, and then we're gonna we're gonna fold over the edge of it there. And yes, I am painstakingly coloring each and every little strip. I did do some while I was in the car as a passenger, so I was not able to record it, but here we go. We're coloring each individual little strip, and they're all different colors. I think it turned out really cute. However, it's very time consuming, so at first I thought I was going to do 2 strips across the paper, but then when I saw how long it was taking, that was a big fat no-go. We did 1 strip across the paper. So the idea is the part where I put it so you could fold it over, we're going to put that twine in there, and we're going to put some glue in there, some liquid adhesive, and then we're going to put the twine in there and fold it over and let it dry. We're going to put something heavy on it and give it a hot minute to dry. Also, I'm going to take my bone folder here in a minute when I think it's not drying good enough, and we're going to put some more adhesive in there, and we're going to, you know, kind of like impress it down more with the bone folder. All right, so this card is going to be geared towards a boy more so. So we are going to do the donkeys without a little horn or whatever they are, piñatas, whatever. We're going to stick this banner thing to the back of the card with some more glue dots. And I just trimmed this before I added the string, so it was just wide enough for the card. And now we're gluing it down. That looks pretty good. I think that the sentiment is probably going to go on the top. Yep, that looks good. I like it. Yep, good enough. And yeah, we're just going to make sure that the glue dots are in the right spot and it's all glued down securely. And yes, like with the last card, you want to make sure that the card panel is the right size for your card base before you glue down anything like that that goes around the card panel, because you'd have to take it all apart and that would be a pain. So I am securely and carefully adhering the card panel to the front of the card. And now we are going to be gluing our little donkey on there, our piñata. Could I have colored the piñata? Maybe, but, you know, oh well. I thought it was kind of cool and, you know, basic with being just white. I did do some different ends on all these sentiments that I stamped. So I'm just trying to decide which one of the sentiment strips I want to use that I made. And I like that one. That looks pretty cool. So we're going to put that down, and I like it. We put it down with some foam tape. And here's the leftover panels that we chose. We didn't have time to use in the cards today. So this is the finished card that my daughter decided to make for her friend. She colored all those little party hats. I did not get any video footage of using the party hat die, but it is also in that stamp set. And here's the pink card. I like that one. And this one's pretty cool too. So let me know in the comments below which one is your favorite. And these are the panels that we have left over for cards some other time. I really appreciate it when you like and subscribe. And here's our 5 seconds of Sonic. Hey, dude. Hi, kitty kitty.